Yes, well, if I were going to give a title to this video, I truly would have two titles. I would call it "Don't Sit on Your Hand, Sit Shut Down Video." Don't sit on your hands in this shutdown video. Information that you see on the screen is nuggets that I'm dropping on you for you to get an understanding of the process. I'm going to introduce you to the founders of this company called Wealth Transfer Alliance. That's the name of the company. And it's less than 2 years old. And it is a phenomenal in terms of its growth and the financial earnings that people are earning because it's all in the name. The shutdown is the name. And persons that causes the shutdown, I find are people that sit on their hands. And when you sit on your hands and you depend on someone else to feed you, you may not get up off of your hands. That's what I'm saying. I find people that are complaining all over America. I'm talking about I'm farmers. I am a son of a farmer, and I see the complaints that they're having, and some of the products that they're producing are just dying in the field because of people that they're depending on that are sitting on their hand. And listen to what I'm saying. If you sit on your hands, you cannot eat. Just test it out and go and sit on your hand and try to move your hands while you're sitting on them, or either try to move your body while you're sitting on your hands, and you see how uncomfortable it is with you sitting on your hands. But when you get used to sitting on your hands and depending on someone else for your livelihood, you may not ever get up off your hand. My income tax video is a video, and it's explaining income tax. Now, I am an accountant. I am an accountant. I have been in the tax business since 1968. I can tell you a little thing about tax. But I put that here because my income tax video is a video to give you an understanding of what you can do with Wealth Transfer Alliance. And Wealth Transfer Alliance Technology is a software company, and the software will enable you to transfer your wealth. We are in the position now to receive a whole lot of the trillions of dollars that are being transferred only if we can understand the principle of getting up off our hands and don't sit on our hands. Now, this is the front door of my company. The name of my company is the Diamond Review and Associates, Inc. We are a United States tax specialist, and we've been preparing tax since 1968. This is just to give you an introduction of who I am and what I've done and what I do now for quite a while. All right, so let us move on with this because it'll take a while. Now, this is a form that the government put out for you to let them know. I'm talking about the government. Let the government know that you're starting a business. This is a form you see as SS4, and it's got the instructions. If you have any difficulties, my phone number is here, and I can surely help you prepare. And I would for you to give me a call because there is a secret in understanding how to prepare it so that you won't be scrutinized over the tax that you're going to submit under the EIN number that they're going to that you have. And you can see at the top it's an application for the employer's identification number. So the government is going to issue you an identification number that's married to your social security number, and it all depends on the entity that you use as to show you how you can benefit from the type of entity. And I can give you some recommendations on that. Okay, so I'm moving on now. I'm not going to take up too much time. Our corporate leadership team is the founders, of you see, and the president and the CEO of Wealth Transfer Alliance is Mr. Professor Bryant Riley and Coach David C. Johnson. Professor Riley truly is a professor. Coach Johnson truly is a coach. Coach Johnson coached two Olympics, 2 people to the Olympics in the last Olympic we had in Paris. And Dr. Riley is, well, I said Dr. Riley, but he put his PhD on hold in order to launch his company, Wealth Transfer Alliance. And that's enough about that. Well, let me give you this information because I am a Bible student, but don't hold that against me. But right above the founder and the co-founder, you see that the fear of the Lord, and this is coming from the Bible, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom and the knowledge of the holy understanding. And all I'm trying to do in all this presentation is to give you an understanding how you can receive your share of the $125 trillion that's going to be transferred out to people like you and I within the next 20 years. We're talking about between 2023 and 2045. And I've heard projections of up to 2048. We're going to move on, but now stop this information, study it for yourself. I've dropped quite a few different video links in this information so you can listen to those links to get a better understanding than what I'm going to verbally try to give you myself. Here are some sources of information for people acknowledging what you may have missed and what you will miss if you don't take advantage of the opportunity that's being presented. Caring, February 30th of 2024 said 32% of Americans have a will. But listen to what I'm going to tell you now. The will go to probate court. And what we're going to be doing in this presentation is to show you the advantages for you not to get on probate, the advantage of you not going to probate, and the losses that you will incur by getting on probate. If you, probate is a choice. And you can either take a choice of getting on probate and losing a lot of money, or the second is for you not to take the choice of getting on probate. So if you don't get on probate, then you're going to have quite a bit of the transfer that we're talking about in your pocket. Not getting on probate is going to cause you to lose. Look at Bloomberg. This is April 16th of 2022. It said that nearly 70% of property owners, that's the people that own a car, truck, home, house, whatever their property is, plan to bequeath real estate to their heirs but have no estate plan. That's quite a bit of people. 70% of the 230 plus million of people in America, 70% of those persons don't have an estate plan. Are you one? If so, then let's try to get you off of not having one and to give you one to show you how simple it is for you to get one. May of 25, this year, May 25th, 25, said $105 trillion is expected to exchange hands over the coming years, and women are poised to take control of a substantial share of the money in motion. That's what we're talking about. Please let that be one of you. If you have not started, then what we're going to present this to you to show you how easy it is to start and less costly, because now I'm doing this as an accountant, and to show you how what we're going to be end up doing is to show you how to start a wealth transfer alliance business, and the software that you're going to be using is for you to set up your own estate plan, and everything that we're going to recommend you do is a tax write-off for you, because you as a business, you're going to write that off. And the first thing I showed you was the SS4 for you to get your proof that you are a business. It's not going to cost you anything to do that. You just complete the form, send it in to revenue, and they'll send you back your business identification number. Now you're in business, and all the costs that will incur, which is not going to be a lot, is tax deductible. Everything that you do in operating your business is also a tax write-off, as long as you're operating your business. Now look at LegalZoom. It also has statistics. UBS has statistics. I'm giving you that. But look at the 33% of the adults in America not having created an estate plan. That's all we're talking about. We're going to get off of that and spend too much time already. Here are the kinds of activities that we have in our ecosystem. I'm talking about wealth transfer line. Now, you don't notice I said we because I am a part of Wealth Transfer Alliance. I am an advocate. And you can come into this big organization either as an affiliate, I don't recommend you do that, or as an advocate. That's what I'm recommending you do because you're going to come in as a business. I'm a business now for over 50 plus years. I'm talking about in the income tax business. 50 plus years ago, I went and sat and got my undergraduate degree from the University of Arkansas in business administration and accounting. I went and got a master's in accounting. I went and studied quite a few semester hours, about 23, 24 semester hours for the CPA review at Catholic University and other universities around the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. I went and sat for the CPA exam. After studying for the CPA exam, I went back, got a master's degree in management and information systems. And from that time to now, I've been working my own business. So I'm only talking to you as a business person trying to get you to start your own business. And I'm asking you to consider letting that business be a wealth transfer alliance process so you can get part of the $125 trillion that are about to be transferred between now and 2048. Okay. Estate planning solutions is one of the things that we do. We got digital ID control and affordable legal access. We have affordable medical benefits. We have first mover advantage pre-launch in 2025. We have professional employees organization, our payroll tax initiative. All of these are something that you're going to benefit from. Now, let me tell you, I'm about to say this now. Pique, path, and pay. Each one of the things in the ecosystem that I'm talking to you about is a process that you're going to receive a handsome six-figure income if you apply yourself like we're recommending that you do. We don't guarantee you anything because you may be one of those persons that will not get up off of their hand and continue to sit on their hand and may not be able to get up and produce the kind of income that we're going to introduce to you in this presentation. If you're not one of those persons and you want to get up off your hands and make a substantial six-figure income for yourself, then these are the 6 things that we're going to introduce to you to how to peak and pass and get the process. Now, peak, path, and pay. Peak, pass, and pay. What is peak? Peak is the interest. If you find someone that have the same interest as getting them off their hands and want to do the same thing that you're doing and to share and to receive part of the $125 trillion wealth transfer, if you find someone that's peak. And then you pass that person off to Wealth Transfer Alliance organization, and all of the support people that run Transfer Alliance are going to put you in a position so you can start receiving a monthly income. And the more persons that you pass to Wealth Transfer Alliance, the bigger your pay is. Peak, pass, pay. Those are the 3 things I want you to remember throughout this entire process. Now here is the probate. This is what we don't want you to do. We want to avoid this process here, the probate process, because the probate process is owned by the United States government. It's a tax. It's a court. The probate court is where you're going to end up if you don't take advantage of the opportunity of the Wealth Transfer Alliance. You've got 2 choices, probate or Wealth Transfer Alliance. Those are only 2 choices that we have as an American. And most of us don't have an idea about Wealth Transfer Alliance because it's just 2 years old. But what about that person that's been in probate now for 15, 20 years? See, that person is going to lose a whole lot of their estate because 30 years ago, when this Wealth Transfer Alliance opened their doors and came out with the software, for the last 13 years, the software been constantly updated. Every year, it's updated. Every year, it's updated. It's just like TurboTax. TurboTax, and I can tell you when I started doing income tax, I used to do them in pencil. Then we graduated to where we are now with in a computer process. It's all digital now. So, but from then to now, you had to grow. But now you have an opportunity. Now you coming in the Wealth Transfer Alliance at a time where you don't have to concern yourself about this the revenue debt that you're gonna have to pay if you don't take advantage of the opportunity that's being presented. Wealth Transfer Alliance is the opportunity for you to avoid probate. Now, whatever you have, it's going to end up in probate if you don't take advantage of the opportunity. I'm saying the only property thing that you don't have, that you do have, that won't go into probate is the dirt on your fingernails. Because if you own any kind of property, personal property, real property, assets, fixed, or any other kind of assets, it most likely will go into a probate. That's what we're saying, because once you expire and God give you your new assignment, it's all over then. So between then and now is the time that you want to prepare for that. And these data that you see here is what we want you to study in order to overcome the process of having to deal with the federal government's death revenue. The federal government's death revenue are the revenue that the federal government is going to put in their pocket up on your death. If you don't have your assets or your legacy put in a position so that they can't get it. And a will not prevent the death benefit or the death revenue from being paid to the government. A will not prevent that unless you take the will and put it into your revocable living trust. So what we're talking about, all this process here, is to set you up as a trust and a revocable living trust. Now you as an irrevocable living trust, take your will, put it into your trust, and everything else that you have that you want your beneficiaries to get, they will then get that. That's what we're talking about. Look what the projected income is under the death benefit revenue. Look what the death revenue will be projected for 2034. $66 billion. Well, that $66 billion are going to come from the estate of all the Americans who have not set themselves up in a position to avoid probate. So it goes to probate, and the federal government controls the probate court. All state governments got a probate process, but the state governments operate under the auspices of the federal government. That's why we call it the federal government death benefit. Okay, now here's the Pique and Pass process. This is how you get paid. I put this here to show you right away. You see in my picture, I put this here to show you how to get paid up front. So to get all of that out of the way, for you won't have to guess, do you have to go to college and get a degree? No, you don't have to do all that. You can be fresh out of prison and still do this. It doesn't have any kind of degree that you have to have. You just have to have a desire to want to get paid every month. And this process here to show you how you get paid month after month after month. The process is the form, that's the Pique process. And then when you find someone of the same interest that you can show the person how to take advantage of the Wealth Transfer Alliance process, then you complete this form, you pass this form on off the Wealth Transfer Alliance, and you get paid. If you do it for your grandmother, your grandfather, they get paid. Your sister, your brother, they get paid. Your friends, your next door neighbor, your coworker, they get paid. That's why I think it's such a good golden opportunity right now, because we are going through people sitting on their hands, closing down people that had a position and a work 2 weeks ago that are being let go now and don't have a job coming in. And then they're raising the health insurance benefit because of the, well, we didn't just learn that the Obamacare was going to try to be reduced, well, 4 or 5 years ago when we first learned of that. But Obama was in office for 8 years, and then he's been out now for 8 years, and now the Obamacare product with everybody having in America having their own reduced rate of health insurance. It went down under Obamacare. But now the current administration said we're going to get rid of that. They are right now trying to get rid of Obamacare. But do you realize that your health insurance is going to go up? Well, this Pique and pass process, did I show you the affordable medical benefits that we share? Well, that's one of the things that we do at Wealth Transfer Lines. We show you how to get affordable medical benefits at a reduced rate. And I'm talking at a group rate, not individually, group. And you and 20 other people can get it much cheaper than you by yourself. I'm talking about your health insurance. You don't have to just get up off your hands, take advantage of the opportunity. That's really all you got to do. And this form is how you get paid to do it. And this is a Pique Pass process. I'm only showing you this for a reason. Now, if you're operating a business and you've been, what is your business? Pique Pass and Pay. What is your business? I'm sorry to say it again, but it's your business to Pique Pass and Pay. That's your new business. And to do that, it's going to cost you very little money. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But here, if you're a business individual, you start this new Pique Pass and Pay business, the new Pique Pass and Pay business you're going to write it off on your income tax. And this is one of the things that you're going to write off. It's called business travel. So if you're going from Hawaii to Alaska, from Alaska to Hawaii, from Chicago to Miami, from Miami to St. Louis, or from St. Louis to Fort Lauderdale, it doesn't really matter where you're traveling, your business trip is tax deductible. And just to give you an idea how simple it is for you to operate this business that we're talking about. Now, here's how you get started. Slow this down. The whole process for you to start your business is $2,490. Where am I getting that from? Well, the software, the estate planning software, is going to cost you a one-time fee, $1,995, $1,995. That's the cheapest that you're going to find, that kind of software, doing what this software does. And the software is about an hour and a half work for you to set up your estate plan. And it got different kinds of support information in the software, so you don't have to have a, if you run into a problem, which we don't anticipate, but if you were to do that, you have to pick the phone up and call somebody. And to keep your software going from year after year is $29.95 per year. All right. Now to start the business, it's a one-time fee this year of $495. That's the $2,490. And you see down, right down here under the at the green arrows with it, you can finance it. We got 35 different finances that you can finance, and the finance of the $2,490 is going to be less than $50 a month. Now, what is your tax write-off every month? $50, less than $50 a month. You writing that off, plus all the other business expenses that you're going to incur. All the other business expenses that you're going to incur are going to be much more, most likely, than the $2,490, because one trip can be $2,490. One business dinner with enough people can be more than $2,490. If you can hear what I'm saying about running a business, and whether you're running a business or not, if you don't, then you want to now get started to idea of running a business. Because let me tell you, as a tax accountant, in order for you to pay less tax, whosoever you are, and filing a tax return in the United States, you need to have people, property, real property or properties, business or businesses on your tax return. I'm going to say it again. The three are people, that's a plural, that's more than one person. Property or properties, that's more than one rental property. Business or businesses, that's more than one business. You need to have one or either all three of those things on your income tax return to reduce your tax liability. If you don't have that and your income is say 120, 130,000, and you didn't hold out of your withholdings because you want to pay some of the bills off at home, if you didn't hold out say less than 10,000, then you're gonna have to pay the government some money if you don't have people, property, or business on your tax return. So here's an opportunity for you to start a business for 2025 and have a write-off for 2025, 26, and all the future years. And to get your ID number, we've already given you that. So all you really have to do is not sit on your hands, and then you can progress to the level here. See this payroll tax initiative? The payroll tax initiative is a peak tax process. You pick the interest of the business that want to save up to $500 per employee. Whatever business want to save up to $500 per employee, that's the employer benefit under the payroll tax initiative. Then the employer benefits, you see what the employee benefits going to be given to the employer and the employee, and everyone benefits through the process because it's a peak pass process for you to do that. So watch this. Here is another opportunity, and I put the video here. This video, you see where it says the first 20daytwin.com? That's a video. And when you click on, when you go to first 20daytwin.com, that's going to take you to a video explaining to you about the million of people prepared and file tax online. Well, you already know that. Well, now estate planning is the same way. So all those persons that want to share in 125 trillion that you introduce to the process, you get paid from those persons every month. In addition to the peak pass process that you've already enrolled into as well. So you got 2 paychecks coming in, direct deposited into your bank account for business income. Your expenses we've talked about. So the process for getting an understanding is here. That's all we're asking you to do, is to stop sitting in your hands and get an understanding. Well, we already know if you get an understanding, you're not going to sit on your hands. You're going to take advantage of this opportunity. Now here's another excuse me, another example of the second 20daytwin.com process, which is another video. This is the employer and the employee benefit again, but it's different than the first one what we showed you. The first one we showed you is different than this, but make sure you pay attention so you can get an understanding of what we're talking about. All right. Now, in addition to that, we also put in here some good nuggets for you. This is a Schedule C. Okay. The Schedule C is what a business uses. And you can see it at the top. This is Schedule C 1040. There's a Schedule C for the 1065. There's a Schedule C for the 1021. There's a Schedule C for the 1120. There's a Schedule C. Different kinds of forms carry different kinds of schedules. Schedule C is the one that we're using to show you once you get your EIN number, you see how it goes up there up under the first part in the item number D. Well, that's where you put your EIN number. And right above that is where you would put your wealth transfer alliance identification number. Now the government know that they've already issued you an EIN number, and the government know that you now are running a business, and they got your business identification number, and they also have above that your social security number. So the government know exactly who you are now. Well, they would know anyway, but they know exactly who you are and what you're doing in your business, and all your expenses are going to go down under. You see down under part 3. That's your cost of goods sold. You may not have none of those the first year, but you also may have. It's okay. Then part 4, that's your business, and part 5. So all we're talking about, these are business expenses in those parts, and part 1 and part 2 is where your, part 1 is where your income will go. Part 2, 3, 4, and 5 is where you list your business expenses. So you don't have to concern yourself about that. I put my phone number here for you can call and get information about that. This is Schedule A, itemized deductions. This is for your itemized deductions. And your itemized deduction includes your health insurance. It'll include your mortgage interest, real estate tax, and things like that. Gift, casualty losses, and things like that. And your other itemized deductions. But then there's yet another Schedule A I put in here. This is just Form 706 Schedule A. That's for your real estate, because your real estate that you're going to have, you're going to list that under your estate planning, and also you're going to put it on the Schedule A here so that everybody will know what you're doing and that it's a part of your funding process. And we're going to get into that later on, but in order for you to have your estate plan funded, you're going to have to list those assets that you have on this Schedule A 706 form to show and prove that you have funded. Here are the golden tickets for you to get started. I told you that affiliate for $195. I don't recommend that way because that way you got to work yourself too hard to get to where you want to go, which is at the $495. That's a one-time fee a year. You're going to pay that, and that is for you to become an advocate. You want to become a business building advocate, and your costs, startup costs for the business building advocate, your startup cost for you to have the estate planning, you're going to write both of those amounts off on your income tax in 2025. And then in 2026, you would also continue to write it off for 2026. Well, you don't have to worry about it after 2026 on paying off the estate planning, but because all you're going to have in 2026 for the estate planning will be the $29.95. You would have to pay the $495 in 2026 to continue operating your business. But you do realize that 2 or 3 business dinners would take care of that and the business expenses that you have at a business dinner. I'm going to move on because I think I've pretty much gotten you to understand what I'm talking about. Here again, we're just showing you, dropping the nugget of myincometexvideo.com so you can get an understanding of how your income tax is going to be affected by you taking advantage of this opportunity. Now, I'm going to not spend a whole lot more time. Again, this is just to give you another idea of the return trips that you're going to have of traveling from one city to another city to tell people about your wealth transfer allowance business. And this is a 100% tax write-off that you see in action. So whatever the cost is for you to do this, you're going to write it off on your income tax. That's what we'll keep showing you this to show you that the Wealth Transfer Alliance Technology Estate Planning Software System Business Billing Advocate Business Trip is tax deductible. That's why when I put my picture here, you can see that again. All right, now here again, the employer and employee benefits. I keep showing it over and over again to show you why you want to do this. This is a Pique and path. You see, I'm showing you 2 or 3 different sources of income, but one income gets bigger and bigger the more you peak and the more you pass. Because what you're doing is you're passing business owners and business employees to your bank account. The peak and the pass would end up in your bank account. Now that's why we call it the peak, pass, pay. Peak, pass, pay. Once you peak it and you pass it, the only thing you can do is relax and get paid. So if you have 1,000 peak, pass, pay customers, your income could be over 6 figures a month. Yes, I said that. If you have over 1,000 peak, pass, pay customers, your monthly income could extend or exceed $100,000 a month operating your wealth transfer allowance business. The video explains it in detail to make sure you don't pass up the video. Okay, now this is just to show you again another video explaining what you don't want to miss. Just access the video, type this in the URL, and it's going to give you information about something that you're really going to be surprised about. And so is this one here. This is the same kind of setup. It's a great wealth transfer. Please don't pass it up, but make sure you access the video, and all you got to do is just listen to what your video is telling you to do. That's all. It's not rocket science. It's just to show you how to start your own Pique, Pass, Pay business. You started your own Pique, Pass, and Pay business. And you can't go to anyone other than someone that's already started within the last 2 years of wealth transfer allowance. You most likely won't go to a person and get their advice about a Pique, Pass, and Pay business unless they are wealth transfer allowance advocate. Chances are you're not going to find it because wealth transfer allowance is really have not launched. They are in their pre-stat. 2 years, 3 years they're gonna launch. But that's where they are right now. Here are the marketing support, and you can see all these data that you see here are means for you to reduce your liability, tax liability, because these are going to be your marketing support information, which ends up on your income tax return. Again, we're showing you the various types of income. You see what the monthly income is in this process here, peak, pass, and pay. That's what this is. This is a peak, pass, and pay opportunity for the six-figure monthly uh, income form. The form is what you're going to pay complete out. But this is to show you the kind of income that the form, peak, pass, and pay are going to produce for you once you get up off your hands and go to work. Here's a partner. There are different levels of earnings within wealth transfer allowance. This is what a partner's earnings could be. Annual income for a partner. This is where your earnings could grow. I'm not going to get into details about it because I want you to, when you go back to the beginning of this, you're going to be able to see the different levels, and I'm going to show you that right now. Watch this. These are different levels. You see on the left side in the blue and the red on the left side of the monthly income of 120 and over $1 million yearly annual income. Well, these are different levels. You see, it's got the wealth, the senior. It's got the wealth, the senior, the district, the regional, the national, and the partner. So, excuse me. So you see what a partner yearly income is, or what a partner's monthly income would be. This is what I'm talking about you. And all you've done is learn something that you didn't know about yesterday, peak, pass, and pay. That's all we're talking about, peak, pass, and pay. It doesn't cost you anything because the information here, you can complete it yourself over the phone. It's simply complete the form, take the form, send it on off the wealth transfer line. All you've done, and then you can keep a copy of your form to show if you have to support the person that you submitted. You're going to have that person's information in your own business tax base. That's what we're talking about. Okay, I got a couple more things to show you, and then I'm going to conclude this. Now look, here again is a breakdown of this is support. You may have to have help to do some of these things. And these are the kinds of support staff that you can get if you should need it. We don't see that you're going to need it, but just in case, we put the security blanket behind you to say, well, if you do, this is what you can get. And this is the three different kinds of supports that you can get should you need it. We don't know if you will, but we don't want to take the chance on you not having them because different things for different people and different people have different kinds of problems. So should that happen, then you would be able to have support of that because of what we know about the process. Now, in conclusion of this, I'm going to show you one more thing, well, maybe two, but stop blocking your wealth transfer. Don't do it yourself by sitting on your hand. That's what I mean by blocking. The only way you can not do this is not get up and do it. It doesn't cost but a little bit of money, and you can get that. You don't have to take that out of your pocket. You can refinance it, and don't know of any reason why you wouldn't be able because they don't do no credit check or nothing like that. So all you need to do is just complete the application, and when you go down to the bottom of the form I showed you good to go, complete the application, submit it, and now you're up and running. It's just that simple. And then you want to start getting the peak and pass. Peak and pass. The more you peak and pass, the bigger you get. And no one know who you're peaking to, and no one know who you're passing to. Because like I said, you can complete the peak and pass form on the phone. You can actually do it on your cell phone. You can actually complete the form on your phone. You can be with someone at lunch and complete the form. All you got to do is show them the peak and pass process, and then do it for yourself. In conclusion, that this is the conclusion. This is a plan overview. Now, this is for employees, employers, and employees. And the employee can receive a huge discount from this process here. This is a plan overview for the employee, regardless of who the employee is. Make sure you just put that, see that video up there? Make sure you put that in your phone and listen to that. And then you want to come back to the website and just go on, so introduce that to you in the video that you're watching on your phone. That is just how easy it is. Now, thank you for letting me spend so much of your valuable time with you. Been with you now for almost 41 minutes, but that's still short. It's not a lot of time. And then you share this with as many people as possible. But before you do, you watch it on your phone. Just set your phone up sometimes and listen to it. And the more you listen to it, the better. You listen to it in your car while you're working, because all it is a means for you to peak pass and get paid. Peak pass pay. That's what you're now. You're a new peak pass pay person. No one know what you're doing, because we are the only company in America that benefits people by peak pass and pay. If you do, you name another country that pay you month after month after month simply by peak passing. You won't find anyone. Thank you and have a good day. Thank you for listening again. Bye bye.